And welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the Serious Sam Xbox modification project for Serious Sam Classic, the second encounter. And if you're wondering why some things might look a little bit different compared to what you saw in the previous session, I had to basically replay up to this point in time in the game, because the mod was updated shortly after I finished recording the first session, which fixed a bunch of bugs, such as the chainsaw not properly vibrating when you were destroying certain objects, among other things. And when I played up to this point in the game and tried to reload my quick save data, the game crashed twice. So that's not going to happen anytime soon, which is why my stats are a little bit different right now, but this is roughly the same point in which we left off, and we have pretty much all the identical weapons from that point in time, so it doesn't really make a huge difference. This is new. I don't remember this. I do like the disco music, though. Even if it's a little bit quiet compared to the surrounding audio, probably because we're standing next to a waterfall. I should go investigate that, because I believe there's actually something back there. If I can actually... there we go. Secret cave, and how did I miss this? I don't know. As I was replaying, I did rediscover a couple of things, and one of the features in the game options which I forgot to enable was sharp turning, which is why my aiming felt a little bit floaty at first, and I don't know why that's disabled by default, because I'm pretty sure it's the exact opposite if you're playing Serious Sam HD. So I guess I just got a little bit too adjusted to that, and yeah. Now I should be able to shoot a little bit more comfortably, and we'll watch this Gnar drown. Not the skeleton, though, because the skeleton is incapable of drowning. Because it's a skeleton, why would it drown? It's oddly enough a feature that they kind of forgot about when they were designing Serious Sam 3, because I remember skeletons can drown in that game. But there's barely any water to begin with, so it's understandable as to why they'd miss that particular feature. Now we shall destroy these biomechanoids and hope that we do not die in the process. And also occasionally shoot at some harpies as well. Oasis. This level definitely looks a lot more impressive in HD, I find. Even if I think the sky color is just a little bit too muted for my liking, I do like the way that the surrounding rocks look compared to just the miniature dunes. It actually looks a bit more like an oasis, and it's much more green, has actual grass. I don't believe they actually had actual grass models, or as you would call them, crumbs, until the second encounter. But we are not quite at that point in time just yet. We're still playing the first encounter, so there's still plenty of ground to cover, lots of Egypt to play. And who doesn't love a good old-fashioned bout around Egypt? It's not a Serious Sam game if it doesn't have Egypt in it. And you know why Serious Sam 2 is not a real Serious Sam game? It's because it doesn't have any Egypt in it. And you can't say that because they showed footage from the Xbox version in the intro that has Egypt in it, that doesn't count. No. It doesn't have any Egypt in it, and therefore, it is not a true Serious Sam game. Same thing goes for Serious Sam 4 when that game eventually comes out. It's probably gonna be a while, but in the meantime, we shall continue to play this game. As we slowly make our way towards the oasis. It's not terribly many differences between this version and the original classic version right now, from what I could tell. I know that, yeah, like, the patterns on the Oasis Temple itself are definitely a lot more ornate in the classic version, which is something I do appreciate. Seems to be something that's absent from the HD edition because they use a lot more simplified textures and meshes. Although you can still edit them in such a way to have more detail like this, because, well, the mesh wrapping is pretty much identical, if not even more complex in some cases. But because there's just not as many textures, you kind of have to basically recreate them yourself if you want them to actually show up properly. I mean, you could just do a full-out demake and use all the classic textures on literally all the buildings in the game if you really wanted to, but Crow Team already did half of that because they couldn't update all of the models, it seems. Still though, Serious Sam HD is a bit more of an HD remake compared to most HD remakes, so you can't really complain. It's just nice that the tools are there so that way you can do something with them if you want. No. I believe, yep, because game time started is entirely different, the Tommy gun is actually firing at its intended firing rate. So after I play for a certain amount of time, it's going to go back to being a horrible piece of shit that I'm never going to use under any circumstances. Probably along with the laser gun. I don't know about the minigun though, like, I'm not actually sure if the minigun is affected by that bug that I was discussing the other day. Again, it's something that was fixed in Revolution. Bleh. And it does have something to do with exactly how much game time you've accumulated, because after about, like, maybe 50 or 60 minutes of recorded playtime in the game's, well, however the game tracks how long the player has been progressing, I think you can actually view that in Matrixa, then eventually at some point it goes back to correcting itself. And whatever causes that, nobody knows, and I don't think anybody really cares to fix it except the guy who worked on Revolution. Keyword being worked, because it's no longer being worked on. I really hope they could just get that stupid game out of early access already. Just get it out there and fix some of the remaining bugs. It would be lovely. Developer of this mod did fix a couple of interesting bugs. As I was replaying, I did discover that the enemies seeing you early on in Tomb of Ramses were fixed. I mean, at like the very start of the level. However, it wasn't fixed for Valley of the Kings, the level that comes afterwards, and I thought that was kind of curious because, again, it definitely made the start of that level a lot more difficult than it needed to be. So I hope that will be looked into. Another thing that some people were telling me in the comments section of the first session is that one of the levels later on, which I think is in the second encounter, Courtyards of Gilgamesh I believe it was, doesn't seem to load properly. Like, that level just skips entirely when you try to load it, and it moves on to an entirely different stage, which is technically the next half of the original stage, because a lot of levels in the second encounter had to be split up entirely. I'm kind of hoping that that will be resolved before I actually get there, but who's to say by this point in time? It depends on how long I'll be recording these particular sessions. Health pill. Listen to all of the spawning sounds, the sound attack secret, and I think picking up this one should enable... yeah, this guy. Oh boy. Okay, if I shoot to the left rocket chamber and then to the right one, I should be able to prevent his projectiles from hitting me, sort of. Yeah. I think I made it out of that situation just alright. I thought that that was supposed to open that door, though. I might have done the sequence entirely out of order, actually, and that could be an issue. Ooh. Oh, yep, they fixed that bug too, where the extra live models don't disappear as soon as you pick them up. That's good. I am relieved by this. You pick this up too? Oh, yep. Oh, there we go. So this power-up does appear to be connected to that secret door trigger, which I didn't really know about. I thought that wasn't necessary to pick up. But I suppose it is. I suppose it is. Oh, hey, hello. By the way, the chainsaw is a weapon that still exists. You totally had this weapon in the first encounter. I think I see a bomber out there, I see another one that's right there, and the rest is just skeletons all the way down. Lots of spooky, scary skeletons. They ain't even Spookfest just yet, but they're already here. Early for the party. Nice. Got the minigun. I'm gonna put this away. It's a little too powerful for me to use right now. Can I get this? Yay. I can get this. I can use the bouncer as much as I want, and observe the glorious statue that doesn't appear to have despawned. Yes, because the shadow is still there. It is a shadow of its former self! I see you trying to be sneaky, so I'm going to out-sneak you, like the master sneak that I am. Oh boy. Why are there more of you? Should not be more of you. There being more of you is a sin against humanity, and that needs to be corrected. Feels like I'm encountering more enemies than I should be at the moment, which is weird because I'm fairly certain I selected hard difficulty when I started playing, but perhaps I did not? I don't know. Yep, that still spawns. I was waiting for that. Grenade launcher. Grenade launcher is a lot of fun. Good weapon to use, arguably much more useful in the second encounter because you've got the pumpkin-headed enemies that can be one-shot with it, whereas the rocket launcher doesn't deal quite a sufficient amount of damage in order to accomplish that task. And then you run out of grenades really quickly as well. This has gone horribly wrong. But it's okay, we can salvage this as long as I just keep doing a little bit of fancy strafing in this very tight space. Should be able to make it just fine. Retrieve my health that I lost. And pick this up.
Alright, who wants some?
Who wants some? So, there is another thing that I feel like is worth addressing in regards to the Xbox mod, which I feel like is probably an appropriate time to talk about now because, well, nothing's really important. Nothing really important is really happening on the screen at the moment. But a thing that they had to do for a lot of levels in the second encounter when making the Xbox mod was they had to split apart a bunch of them, and this is something that somebody was commenting on in the comments section of the first session, is because of this, it's kind of an odd trade-off, because while you do get some extra details showing up in some of the levels, at the same time, because they had to optimize everything, the levels would be split apart, which in theory does sound kind of nice, but at the same time, it kind of breaks the flow of the original game, I find. Because as long as the capabilities for the engine on the PC game to have all these levels in their complete forms, I don't see why you would bother splitting them apart. An especially notable case would probably be the early South American stages, where I think some people believe that the Xbox port technically has new levels, and I say that in very stressed air quotations. They don't really have new levels so much as they have modified levels. I think there might be maybe 1 or 2 rooms, but the new levels that they might be referring to are really just rooms from the Palenque demo, which is basically just the Serious Sam Classic second encounter demo that you could download on the internet before the second encounter was released. Before or after. And I would recommend you actually give that a try if you own the original PC version of the game, because it's kind of an interesting stage. It's basically a small combination of both the first and second level of the second encounter. And it's also available if you play the HD version as well. A little bit different because they had to omit a few weird gravity rooms. But yeah, if the mod I'm playing right now is a completely faithful recreation of the Xbox port, then I'm probably going to be a little bit disappointed by the time we get to those stages because, again, they had to change up a couple of the gimmick rooms in order to accommodate people who would be playing the Xbox version, because using a controller would make certain gimmick stages very difficult, if not impossible, to complete. That's the theory anyway, and I'm gonna stick with that. Are we out of enemies? I'm still hearing the music going. I don't see any enemies. Oh, there he is. He's just taking his time to show up. There we go. That was a pretty difficult room. I'm kind of amazed I made it out of that barely scarred in the first place. Is that a serious bomb? That is a serious bomb. Look at that beauty. Oh, and a surprise trap! I'm glad that spelling error was never fixed. Nice. Oh, you can actually... Hold on. I need to observe something real quick. Yeah, you can actually select serious bombs in this version. Because in the classic version, it's technically not so much a weapon as it is a power-up that you enable by pressing a button. So that's pretty interesting. There's another one for our efforts. You're gonna have lots of serious bombs, even though you could probably only carry 3 if I remember the rule of 3 correctly. And this is selected by... What do I select this by? 0. Okay. So 0 is the hotkey that I need to press if I'm panicking. Good to know. Let's complete this Oasis stage. Lob a few grenades down this corridor. Next one's gonna spawn a big mama arachnoid, and the final one's gonna be a big guy with rocky launches. And then a marsh hopper. Not so scary. That, however, is considerably more scary, so I'm going to switch to my Chicago typewriter. Boop, 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 boop. Everybody out of my face. My face space is not the place for you to invade. This is. Alright. And hopefully this cutscene is going to play without crashing the game. I kind of expected that to be a pre-rendered full motion cutscene, like they've done with all of the other ones. So it's weird how they still stuck to the game engine for that particular one. But one thing I did notice is that they repaired the missing text that would show up, like... In the intro, there's supposed to be like an episode title, and whenever you acquire an element, there's supposed to be text that goes along with it. So it looks as though that they fixed that issue, and that's nice. Good attention to detail. Unfortunately, the Xbox cutscenes still appear to be out of sync most of the time, and again, I only managed to fix that somewhat by using video editing. Even then, sometimes the full cutscene doesn't even play, and you only get part of it. So that's a bit of an odd one. Okay, so now we're on the best level of the game, according to most Serious Sam fans, and that's only because it has the best music. That's about it. But it's good music. I mean, you can't really fault Dunes for having good music. It's just that it's a level that's mainly comprised of arena battles and nothing else. So in that sense, it's just kind of a okay level. Oh, don't want to get hit by that. And I don't want to sit over here because I know there's going to be kamikazes in a moment. And I would prefer to maintain my distance probably around this area. I think this is a fairly safe spot, all things considered, and I'm able to get a full 360 degrees view of everything that's occurring around me. And if things get too hairy, I can just switch to third person and try and cheese it that way. But I don't think I need to. I just need to pay attention to where the sound is coming from. You're coming from over there. Good. By the way, if you notice me picking up as many power-ups as possible, unfortunately, this game kind of feeds into my kleptomaniac desires to pick up as many items as possible, and as such, they give you lots of points. And that could be a... Why is there a tree there? Why is the tree there? I don't get it. What's the purpose of that tree? What does that tree have to hide from me? I'm gonna have to investigate this shortly. As soon as I finish off these evildoers. Like you. Besides the fact that you signify the fact there's a ancient Egyptian phone booth sitting here, why do you exist? Abomination, get out of my sight. Alright. I'll get rid of that abomination later. I think for now we should focus on the giant indicator arrow that's pointing towards the super armor. The super-de-duper armor. I'm trying to think of any other bugs that they probably fixed, which I happened to notice when I was replaying these levels. Because right now, nothing's really sticking to mind. It's just a couple of miscellaneous little bugs, as like the ones that I've mentioned already, that they managed to fix, which is good. It's probably, in retrospect, it probably would have been better if I waited until they did fix these bugs before playing, but I was just excited. I just really wanted to play the new mod that was released, so can you really blame a guy? I'm not sure if you can. Items? Thank you. Items on command, just what I need. Also, this level still looks really lovely and classic because of those background mountains, which HD does actually still somewhat retain. Like, they do actually have background mountain models that they use. I just wish that they had more of them in a lot of the other levels, because a lot of the other levels are just feeling kind of barren most of the time. But I could keep complaining about the HD remakes for days on end, and I'm not going to subject you to all of that whining, unless I feel like it's relevant to the current situation. And in the current situation right now, it's not relevant, so I'm not going to bother with it. I'm still going to comment on the fact, however, that both versions of this level, in Classic and HD, look really nice. So good job, Crow Team. Good job. I should remember that I'm able to actually stun these enemies by just shooting a single bullet at them. It's getting a little bit tight over here, and I think that Biomech is really putting a lot of pressure on me, but I don't want to focus on him at the moment. Well, it's okay, he's dead anyway. I think I can finish the rest of these dudes off, just with a good old-fashioned shooty. Backpack? Power-ups? Anything. Come on. I'm gonna need something to continue here, guys. Hello? So, now what? Well, if all else fails, I could just rocket jump over the wall, I'm sure, but I think there's supposed to be something appearing right now. Oh, there it is. It's taking its time. It must just be on a somewhat of an extended timer, which is why it took so long. Okay, then. Wow, I'm really low on bullets. Maybe I should switch to a different weapon. Yeah, this seems like a pretty good weapon. Grenade launcher is still pretty nice. Again, probably a bit nicer in the second encounter, but still a pretty decent weapon overall. So, let's just try to not run in a straight direction too much, because eventually the rockets and lasers will catch up with me, among other things. I should shoot that guy out there. I know he's going to be a pain later on. Don't get too close to me. I love that faster weapon switching. That is such a benefit to this version of the game. I can't stress that enough. The slower weapon switching in Serious Sam Classic is just one of those grievances that I have. Even if you get to see some fancy animations, it's not really practical. Okay. Let's get rid of you. I think that's all of them. If the items have spawned already, that probably serves as an indication that was all of them, even if the battle music is still playing. Yes, it seems to be the case. Another thing that I'm really glad I did was re-enable sharp turning, because that smooth axis turning was not benefiting me in the slightest. This has definitely made aiming a lot more comfortable. Get out of here. Alright. Who's next? You! Alright, this'll take just a short amount of time. I believe it's 20 rockets to kill one of these guys now. It seems as though they change the amount of health for these guys all the time. It's either that or they just change all the resistance. And that's enough. 25,000 points. That's more than a secret area gives you. Ooh, phone booth. Okay, I'm gonna save from that first, and then we shall discover all of the secrets within this zone. I believe my favorite order of doing things is probably starting off with that tree over there. Maybe if I shoot a rocket comfortably. Yes, that should do. There is one complaint that I do have about the sound quality. It's namely when you're firing a rocket launcher, it seems as though there's a lot of peaking going on with the rocket firing sound file. I don't know what's up with that because I don't remember that being an issue with the original version. Just something that I noticed when I was playing with higher volume settings. So it might sound a little bit unpleasant to fire the rocket launcher if you're playing with a really loud sound. Just an observation. Ooh, is that the money bag you were guarding? That is sneaky. Okay. Okay! Give me all this. Nothing over there. No money bags out here on the flat plain. There is something over there. It looks like another serious bomb. You can't have enough serious bombs in a Serious Sam game. Which weren't there originally in the first encounter, so using them in some levels will probably break a couple of enemy triggers. But they also had... They had that same problem in a couple of spots in the second encounter too, so... Bit of an odd thing. Actually, that makes me curious now. Because they actually have selectable serious bombs in this version, I'm wondering if they properly delete serious bombs from your inventory when you start a new era. Like, will they be removed entirely, or will you still keep them like you could in the original game? I guess we'll find out when we get there. Should stop worrying about the future and just focus on the present at the moment. Be a present-minded thinker, that's what's crucial to survival. Because if I weren't thinking in the present the entire time right there, I would have just sat there staring into space and probably would have been mauled by all of those deadly creatures. That didn't need to happen. And I think I left a few things over here. Did I not even pick this up? I do kind of want it. It's nice to have a serious bomb. And plus, at some point, I feel inclined to use one of these because then we'll get to see that fancy animation where he lights the fuse and the bomb goes off. It's really satisfying to do in both Serious Sam 2 and Serious Sam HD, so I'm looking forward to doing that. So I think I'm gonna go after that spawn over there. They turned the spawn that's over in this direction that I'm shooting towards, they turned that into a secret in the HD version, but I'm not sure if it really was meant to be that way in Classic. Guess we'll find out. Basically, if you pick up the health pill, it then gives you a message that says secret health has been enabled. I'm not sure what specifically that secret health is, it's just, it's been enabled. That's all that matters. Oh, they changed it a little bit in this version. Okay, that's a little bit different. Rewards you with an extra life, and it's actually a secret. How about that? Okay. I'll pick that up. Maybe that will... Oh, there we go. There's just a trigger right there, it seems. Am I getting punched? Oh god, I'm getting punched. I was wondering what that sound was. Get out of here. Jeez, you're spawning uncomfortably close. You need to stop. Okay, one rocket, double-barreled shotgun. One rocket, shotgun. Please switch a little bit more quickly. There we go. Huh. Not so stressful after all. Now, give me that extra life. If this is one way to get a life, I'm definitely gonna take advantage of that. And all the ammos. Would like some of that. And this armor. I see a treasure chest way out in the distance. Hopefully it's not within the damage zone. I know for sure that secret oasis out there is in the level damage zone, where eventually you start taking damage by the sun. So we should be careful of that. And maybe I should stop jumping. It's a really bad habit to get into. Or if you just get this compulsive habit of just jumping all over the place, or doing something that you can do in the game. Like just constantly switching weapons for no real reason. I don't know if I can actually spam the switch weapon thing, though. Like, I'm desperately trying to scroll through my weapon list as quickly as possible, but I don't think the game likes that. In fact, I think I may have broken it entirely, because now I'm unable to switch weapons by scrolling. I'm gonna have to rely on the number pad now, that's fun. That may or may not be a bug. Oh boy. Time to move this way. Oh, there we go, now it's working again. It just doesn't like it if you spam it, because it's having a hard time tracking just how many weapons you're scrolling through, it seems. Little details like that. That missed. That definitely hit, though. Wonder if there's anything over this hill, actually. Or this dune, I guess would be the more appropriate term. Doesn't look as though that's the case. Hey, there's the start of the level. That definitely doesn't look weird. That's one of those things I try not to pay attention to because it just kind of looks silly. These aren't exactly dunes, as they are just rather ugly-looking hills. Oh hey, we're in the damage zone already. This is great. Okay, we'll just make this quick. And then get on out of here. At least the damage zone does actually inflict damage on the enemies too, if I recall. Guess we'll find out in a moment. Yeah, they're all starting to take damage. I remember the grenade launcher being especially useful against clumps of harpies in this version, so it should only take a couple of them, and then we'll clean up the rest of the damage with another weapon. Nice. Okay, I'll just switch to the show fields. We have plenty of space to cover anyways, we've just got to keep trekking all the way back to the gates of Memphis. So, I'll just keep pistol sniping away until I get there. There we are. Oh, I'm kind of overshooting this a bit. The gates are over here. Again, I could make the argument I could just rocket jump over this wall, but that would be at the cost of this extra overheal that I just obtained, even if it's just a minimal amount by this point in time. Aha! Laser! The view model on this looks a bit odd in the Xbox version, but it appears to be firing at its proper firing rate, so that's nice. It's actually animating behind the little jet cooler things on the model, that's cool. I like that little feature. Alright, this arena is a lot of fun. I remember that much. I'm actually going to leave that guy alive for just a bit of time. I'm just going to focus on the clears that are spawning around this area, because he only has a set amount of space that he can move in, it seems. And I think they're going to spawn a couple of smaller biomechs in a moment, so I'm just going to keep watch over this area. There's one of them. Not sure about this side, though. There he is. Oh, that was probably not a horrible time to move. I thought for certain that that guy was going to succeed in shooting me, but he didn't. Okay, now we'll take care of him and the other additional biomechs that have spawned. There we go. Might actually need to switch to the grenade launcher right here, because this is getting to be a bit much. Just spam a few grenades out in that general direction, kind of hope for the best. This is definitely a better way of doing this sequence compared to just killing the first major biomech immediately, because then you'll just be surrounded by skeletons while two other biomechs show up, and it's pretty horrible. Would recommend that you use this strategy if you wish to live. And I wish to live to fight another day, so I'm gonna keep doing that. I would like to note, I still have not lost a life yet, and I want to keep this going for as long as possible. Ah yeah, I think another bug that they did fix, for people who did lose lives. Apparently there weren't any invincibility frames as soon as you respawned, but I believe they fixed that bug, so that's a good thing. Should give us a fair fighting chance if we happen to kick the bucket. Again, I'm just kind of banking on the fact that that's not going to happen unless I just decide to jump into a bottomless pit like a lunatic. It sounds like the kind of thing that I would do. Let's get rid of all these guys. And that should be all of them. It's a good thing they took care of the little Nars around me as well. Oh, that's the end of the level? I didn't even get to get the secret areas.
I see dead people.
I was kind of hoping I would just save the final few kills until the end and then go after the secrets that are on those little platforms, but I guess you're intended to get them before you even initiate the fight in the first place in this version. So, well then. All we're really missing out on is just some secret health and secret ammo stash, so it's not really too big of a deal, I don't think. Plus, I feel like if I load my save, then the game's just gonna crash because the mod's a little bit unstable in that respect. So I kinda don't feel like doing that. That's my excuse and I'm sticking with it. We'll just continue playing and acknowledge the fact that we won't be getting those particular secrets, but that's okay. I'm sure somebody else doing a playthrough of this will have the foreknowledge now to go after those secrets before they pick up the laser gun and start that fight. I am quite certain of that. So all those kamikazes appeared to spawn properly. They didn't get stuck behind that building like they always do in the original version, so that's a good fix. Nice. Hello. I know you spawned back here. Just keep strafing away. The suburb is kind of a tricky level, if I recall correctly. Looks like some of the pylons in this level are actually a bit different too. They seem to be using different textures. I don't remember that in the original version. Like, the main pylons, they always use different textures, but the background ones, I think in the original version, they just used the ones from Dunes. So that's, again, a nice little attention to detail. That's another good thing that the Xbox version is doing. In terms of some of those additional details and Xbox variety changes, just spices up the game a little bit more. Get out of here. Pick up this health. Grab this armor. And wait for some enemies to spawn. Wherever they may be. I hear somebody back here. It looks as though we just strategically avoided each other altogether. Yeah, there he is. Good. Haha. Trying to flank me, are we? Oh, trying to flank me. They're definitely succeeding, that's for sure. Okay. I'm not gonna move out too much so I don't run the risk of getting shot even more than I already am. Switch to the laser gun for a bit. Has a good rate of fire, so pretty handy energy weapon. A good middle point between the minigun and the Thompson submachine gun, because the minigun has an insane fire rate in this game. Absolutely insane. Which is a thing I'm glad that they fixed for Fusion as well, where they restored that. Because in the original HD version, it had the exact same rate of fire as the Tommy gun. Which, just kind of made the Tommy gun useless. Hi? Oh, he spawned from a completely different point. Confused me for a minute. But man, this Tommy gun is definitely doing me a service. Were those guys walking around? I must have been seeing things, but it looked like they were just kind of casually having a stroll in this direction. That was kind of weird. Well, I'll just keep picking up these ammo. Looking around, seeing what I can see. Hi. And I think they're going to spawn a couple more of these guys on those columns, and that assumption was correct. Oh, that guy's already wandered off. He's not interested in staying there. I think there's a green guy that's around the bend. Yes, he is. Oh boy. Enemies spawning behind me. You guys are clumped a little bit together. That should work. Don't get too close, please. Oh boy. This is messy. You're flying all over the place. Alright, hold still. No, just, no, get out of my face, please. Hitboxes are not a thing that exist on Harpies, it seems. I might just have to say screw it, switch to the chainsaw by this point, because none of this is working. I got pushed back way more than I needed to. It isn't even a particularly threatening scenario, this just... They're throwing flying kicks in front of my face, and half of the time they aren't even hitting. Alright, you. Now you can stop being a pain in my butt. Alright. I believe it's just a few more enemies to take care of. And they should all spawn up there. Besides you, I mean. You don't matter to me in the slightest. Yeah. I thought I just about shot myself in the face with a rocket right there because I was in front of the tree. Ah, good times, good times. Okay, you need to stop. Anybody else? You! Running straight towards your doom. Didn't expect that to explode immediately when it just hit a wall. But there you go. Pill! Very harmless pill. Secret! Ooh. This was upgraded from a 25 health potion to a 50 health cube. Neat. Ooh. Nice little secret right there.
Secret you have found.
Ah, thank you, Master Yoda! Appreciate that, boy. Okay. Left chamber, right chamber. How's a set pattern? Okay. Not so scary after all, once you know how to deal with those guys. That's kind of an annoying thing in HD, where the major Biomex will shoot a rocket out of a different chamber. Like, it seems to be on a set pattern, however. Like, in one phase, they'll shoot from the left chamber and then the right chamber, and then in the next phase, they'll do the exact opposite, right to left. And depending on which one they start with, I can never figure it out, so it can make fighting Biomex up close a little bit scary. Seems like a very arbitrary thing to change as well, but eh. Tends to happen sometimes when you're redesigning video games. Everybody just run into the chainsaw blade. That's more delicious meat for me to consume. I'm growing stronger every day by eating gnaw meat. And a very tiny purple potion, in case I needed 10 additional health points. Hello. Quick save button. Sorry, kleptomania was getting in the way of my priorities for a second there. Let's look around for a bit longer. See what we can see. Plenty of miniature Biomex in this place. This section's a lot of fun. I like the way that all the buildings are laid out, where they just hide all the enemies just behind some of these formations. Makes for a fun little run-and gun section with your explosive weapons. I mean, just about anything here works, really. You can even use the Tommy gun or the shotguns if you want. Although the shotguns are probably less efficient because you can't one-shot any of these guys with the shotgun. Which is a shame. I wish you could do that, but you can't. I heard another one spawning. Yeah, you're up there. I remember that spawn all too well. You are not going to ruin my fun by sniping at me, good sir. Oh, you avoided that. Man, I'm just really throwing these shots right now, aren't I? Oh boy! Glad I didn't release the firing button right there. That would have been a disaster. My nose itches a bit, and that's kind of bothering me. I think there's a skeleton over here. Yep. Nope, you didn't lose any health previously, so that's not gonna kill you. But at least I have a rocket launcher, however. I'm just gonna actually go ahead and clear out as many enemies as possible before I even hit some of these buttons, because I feel like that this is gonna be a bit more efficient in the long run. Give me a few less things to worry about. I believe hitting some of the buttons does cause a few enemy spawns, however. Oh, that's an enemy spawn. That happens by picking up the shells, I think. Whoops. Just get that out of the way. And... what else? What else? What else? Ooh. A nice 50,000 points just laying out there in the open. Is it easier to find than secrets half of the time? Oh, that's Sunflare too. Lovely. Hearing lots of servo motors sounding off right now. It's a good thing that the noises they make are rather indicative as to where they are placed on the map. Because otherwise, if they were completely silent, this would be incredibly frustrating. I want these grenades. Can't have too many grenades, in my opinion. Okay, I think all that I need to take care of now are just a couple of scattered power-ups around here. Well, I didn't know this was here. That's pretty helpful. That doesn't even spawn enemies either. Just free points. Again, free points laying out in the open. For anybody to collect. Here we go. There's one. And I might as well just hit this now. Watch the cutscene play out of the sewer's entrance being partially opened. Grab this. I think this is a trap. Yeah. Just refill all of those lost bullets. And continue onward. See if there are any more power-ups to collect. I'm probably missing one or two. Oh, there's one. Oh, another one. Okay. We'll hit the button, and then I'll go check out all of the secrets in this area. At least this time I'll have actual opportunity to pick up the secrets. Compared to the previous incident. God. That still kinda irritates me. I wish it didn't just automatically end the level right there, because there were still enemies! Can't you just wait until I leave through the door? Come on. That is not a change of the Xbox edition that I approve of. Okay. Couple of those dudes. I'm just gonna use a serious bomb. Screw it. You only get so many opportunities to use one of these. It even has a shattered bomb model after you make one lit. That's cool. I like that a lot. Okay, first secret. I remember this one all too well. Boop. I hope I have enough time to get out of here. And I did. Just barely. I made it. Something I'm noticing too, the laser gun sounds a little bit staticky right now. It could just be me, but it feels like it's got a bit of that similar issue to the rocket launcher's firing sound. And plus it's not using the original TIE Fighter sound of the first encounter's laser gun, and I miss that sound. I prefer that compared to the second encounter's laser gun sound. Which they never seem to change, even for Serious Sam 3. I find that kind of interesting. But that is what modding is for. You can change these things if you don't agree with what the developers did. The freedom is there. The choices are yours, and yours alone. I don't think there were any other secrets on this particular side of the suburbs. Actually, there is one thing I'm kind of curious about. Because when I was designing my mod, I found a bit of an odd formation of buildings where if you decided to go out of bounds, you could potentially get stuck there for all eternity. If, memory serves me correctly. So, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna pick up that secret armor, and, well, just pick up these power-ups. See if I can remember where this is, even. Because now I'm dying to know. Okay, I think it's over here. just rocket jump out, and yeah, this tiny little spot that you could potentially get stuck in forever, this still exists, which surprises me. Huh, okay. Oh boy, okay, can I just remember how to rocket jump in this game? Yeah. You fire first, and then you jump at the same time. It's not the other way around. It's one of those things that I've forgotten about entirely. I'm just banking on the hope that my health is going to reset to 100 by the time I get to the next level. Unless I can get the secret that's down here. This is a little bit fiddly to get. Nope. And the game crashed, yay! So it appears as though the game was having difficulty loading that Xbox cutscene while recording, and, well, every subsequent try caused the game to crash, so I had to start from Suburbs again, and then complete the level again, and then it was magically working, so we can continue making progress. I'm just going to unpause the game right there. So, one cutscene unfortunately, you did miss, so I'm probably just going to get it off of the internet somewhere and then just put it in my own video so you can get some context as to what's going on. But, I don't remember the diving board being here. It's even bouncy! Look at that. That's cool. I like that. Doesn't really do anything for me in the long run, but it's there if you want to mess around with it, I suppose. Fine. We shall continue onwards. I really like the sort of dungeon-like layout and look of the original sewers. I think that the HD version probably succeeds at giving it off a bit more of a sewers vibe, but this one's kind of a unique. I appreciate that. Secret corridor. With another serious bomb. Well, I pretty much lost all my serious bombs when I had to start from Suburbs again, so that's fair enough. Let's get rid of this now. This also comes at the cost of me no longer having access to my minigun, but I never really was using it in the first place. Because I felt like that using it would just be a little bit cheaty at the moment. I think I would rather wait until I've officially acquired it before I consider breaking that puppy out. That's the plan. In the meantime, we shall focus on collecting these other power-ups, refueling our ammo. Look at all those flares, my god, that's blinding. Watch out for this guy over here. I don't have any rockets, so this could probably take a couple of years to kill him with the Tommy gun. But we'll get there. Eventually. Yeah, I have no explosive weapons right now. This issue needs to be rectified as soon as possible. After I shoot you in the face. Oh, I was kind of hoping I could go for that multi-kill. But I'm not going to be so lucky this time after all. I don't remember these textures, or these pillars, being very ornate. You've got plenty of gods going on these little pillars right here. I'm really struggling to remember which god that is. I think it's Osiris, if I recall correctly. Probably is. And if I am mistaken, then feel free to correct me in the comments below. Fortunately, I don't know all the Egyptian gods all that well. Up the stairs we go, into a pile of marsh hoppers. This is another marsh hopper themed level, there's gonna be plenty of them. However, we can destroy all of them just using the chainsaw, so that's okay with me. Hopefully that's okay with you as well. I need to open the door, so I'm just gonna take a dive real quick. And I'll go pick up that armor as well. And, ooh, I don't remember this being here. Lovely. Another extra life to add to my collection, which I've had to rebuild. Now, where is that button? It's on one of these sides, pretty sure. fairly certain that this being lit up is an indication that the button should be right here. Because that's where I remember it being, unless they moved it? If the button isn't here, we're gonna have a bit of a problem on our hands. I'll look around a bit longer. See what I can see. Unless the door's just already open? The door's just already open, huh? Because I don't remember hitting the button. It's a bit of an odd one. Okay then. Well, it's fine by me. Maybe it's just not working properly in this version of the game. Sort of like the boulders in Sand Canyon no longer existing. That's probably why. I have no bullets left. Chainsaw. Might as well make use of the tools that we have at our disposal. And this chainsaw is telling me that it wants to be loved, so I will give it my love. Lots of jumping sounds. Oh, missed that guy. I don't think that delayed knife swing is going to take care of him. If they're all down there, I could go for a multi-kill in just a second. Yeah, I think I got most of them with that one. I think it's a pretty safe assumption that most of them are dead by this point in time. If only a few stragglers remain down below in the depths, the murky, murky depths of the sewers. More of these pillars decorated with the trim, which is nice. Even though these are sewers, it doesn't really make sense that things should look this fancy down here. Who cares? Who gives a crap about that sort of thing? They're efficient here. I forgot that this was a thing in Classic, because they replaced them with skeletons in HD. That was kind of scary. Let's just reclaim all of our serious bombs. Considering how many serious bombs they give you in this version of the game, probably doesn't matter that I had to lose most of them to begin with. Okay. Up we go. Oh god, the gravitational pull is pushing me back down! Oh, it's taking forever. That's weird. I don't really know what causes that. It's probably, well, I think I have an idea of what causes that. Probably the platform lowering, which is just trying to suck you down. It's a bit of an odd one high. Bunch of frogs in the box. Lovely. And they don't even tap dance either. That's just plain disappointing. Yep. Getting some use out of the shotgun, at least. Hi. Hello to you too, good sir! Am I invading your territory? I'm so sorry. I'm a bit disappointed they got rid of the really green-colored marsh hoppers down here. That was one oddity about Classic which I liked. I think, the enemies were just covered with incorrect color values or something, which is a setting that you can use. I'm not sure if you can use it in the Classic version, but you can use it in the HD version. You can use what's called ambient bias to make enemies colored a bit differently. And I'm not sure if that's what specifically happened with a small group of marsh hoppers in this level, but that's what it was like in the original version of Classic, which I thought was pretty funny. I definitely don't remember these extra sewer holes being here in the original version. So I guess that kind of makes more sense as to why there are marsh hoppers here. I need a little attention to detail, I suppose. Oh, wow, it does actually spawn enemies. Huh. I was just gonna see if I could duck in. Yeah, this is a thing you can do. Cool. Nice little hiding spot if I ever need to run away from some dastardly foe that doesn't know how to climb into tiny holes. Okay, can I just save here before this opens? Okay, this could take a few years. Get me, please! I want up! I want up! I want up! I can't swim out of here! This is so annoying! God damn it. Okay, no! I saw it open! Okay. This is the only time I'm gonna do this. And hopefully it's not gonna crash the game either. Because I want the secret armor so badly. You could just do a brother a solid right now. Thank you. Is that so hard? Apparently it is, because it takes years for me to actually get the secret to begin with. God. Okay. Now just press the button. I have to aim slightly higher above the button in order to even use the button. It's curious. And now we'll press it again in order to leave. Break out my Thompson submachine gun, because this place is scary. It seems to be much more well lit in this version too, because I remember it being more difficult to see in Classic. Well, it's a welcome change, because it at least illuminates the presence of that treasure chest, which I'll definitely need. Enemies? Oh yeah, there's like no fog down here whatsoever. Well, I can use this to my advantage. I'm going to guess that this might not be entirely intentional. Maybe not. I don't know at the moment. Hi. Is that treasure over there, or is that just ammo? That is ammo. I'm gonna pick it up anyway. The shotgun shells definitely need a home. And my double-barreled shotgun would gladly accommodate it, because I speak on the authority of all of my weapons. They don't have minds of their own because they are weapons. Although it's a bit different if you're playing something like Borderlands 2, where some of the guns talk to you, and that can be a little bit funny. Sometimes. If a little bit irritating in the long run. Into meaty chunks you become. Alright. Really hoping that the game's not gonna crash when it tries to load this cutscene, because otherwise... Ugh. Unless there's no cutscene at all, in which case I'm fine with that, honestly.
It stinks in here. Huh? Wow.